Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners public hearing. It is June 29th, 2021, 4:01 p.m. The topic today is the Extension Ordinance for Economic Security and Relief. The purpose of this public hearing is to accept and consider public comment on the proposed ordinance to extend Ordinance 15942 to extend permit deadlines of building and land use applications received by Community Planning and Economic Development to September 30th, 2021. This is a hybrid public hearing. Those wishing to testify have joined in person, by Zoom, emailed in comment, or mailed in comment. If you wish to testify, please visit the Thurston County homepage online and select Announcements of Public Hearings on the left-hand side. The information to join this public hearing remotely has been posted there. If you do not wish to testify but would like to listen and follow along, please watch the live stream through the Thurston County YouTube channel to help us manage attendance. Brett Burris, Building and Planning Manager, will provide information on this topic. I will read names on the sign-up sheet. Assuming those on Zoom wish to testify, their names will be read aloud thereafter. Each person will have 4 minutes to testify. Time may not be given to another person. When you are called on, please state your name and address for the record. Public hearing is now open. And Brett will present background information of the proposed ordinance, any written comments submitted, and any additional information the board might request before we go to the public testimony. Go ahead, Brett.
Thank you very much. For the record, Brett Burris, Development Services Manager with Community Planning and Economic Development. In response to continuing service to citizens and the building community, Ordinance 15942 was adopted by the Board of County Commissioners to help with the impacts of COVID-19. Ordinance 15942 is an ordinance that, due to the impacts of COVID, extends the expiration of building and land use applications and permits. On March 12th, 2020, the Board of County Commissioners adopted Ordinance 15942, extending those building land use permits to September 30th of 2020. Further, on November 17th, the Board of County Commissioners amended the ordinance to extend those with an expiration date of March 31st, 2021. Currently before you is another amendment to the ordinance to extend the expiration of building and land use permits to September 30 of 2021. The current proposal of September 30, 2021 is in alignment with the Board of Health and the Public Health and Social Services ordinance that they adopted as well with the date of September 30, 2021. On June 8th, 2021, this topic was presented to the Board of County Commissioners requesting to set a public hearing for June 29th. The request of the public hearing was granted. For this hearing, public notice was issued on June 9th, June 18th, and June 25 of the year 2021. Public comment was received from the Olympia Master Builders in support of the extension of the expiration of approvals. After hearing testimony, the request today is for the public hearing to first move to close the public hearing, and secondly, move to approve the ordinance to extend Ordinance 15942, which extends the permit deadlines of building and land use applications received by Community Planning and Economic Development to September 30, 2021. And I am available for any questions that you may have.
Question for Brett?
No, sir.
I guess we were too optimistic in times gone by. We thought we'd be through this problem. We're not through the problem mainly because we've still got a bit of the virus, and then we've got the side effects of supply chain and such. So I know there's a lot of people struggling, and maybe we'll hear from some of those people today.
Okay. Let's go to the public testimony.
Thank you.
And I don't have anybody signed up, but I know Mr. Pettit is on tap, so we'll start with him.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Pettit. I live out at Rich Road area, and I am closely associated with various building projects and processes. And yes, I remember there was a time when you guys did extend this process. And then, yes, I remember there was a time we extended the extension. The problem we have right now is very simple. we don't actually have an end to this time that's going to occur. So right now, this extension it's a 3-month extension is what it amounts to. Okay. Previously, I made a recommendation, and I think the board had even suggested and listened to it. I appreciated that we didn't necessarily have to go 3 months. Maybe we could go out there for the 6-month time frame, so we aren't repeating ourselves in another 2.5 to 3 months from now. So I guess if I was going to come up, let's see, September, October, November, maybe a December 30th type deadline instead. Because right now, we know one thing for sure. We can't get materials. Or if you do want to get materials, it may cost you 3 or 4 times what it did when we started extending it way back when. I only wish I had made my investment into slings of plywood instead of, other things. I would have multiplied my money numerous times. So the suggestion here is I agree with moving it out. I realize that there is some element of the public health and their implications for their permitting process. It's nice to have things aligned together, but I think that it doesn't hurt to move this one out and then just let public health catch up and move in behind it, as such. So in your consideration, I guess I'm going to request as a citizen would be to, let's just extend it out there just to December 30th. And then that makes it a lot less likely we're going to have to do a repeat, especially since the governor is still implementing certain things right now on us that we can't avoid, and it's not going to make it go faster. Thank you very much.
Mr. Hanna? No. Okay. Don't see anybody on Zoom. Well, I guess it's one square.
Ms. Christine Javier, would you like to provide testimony this afternoon? No. One more call, one more time. Ms. Christine Javier, would you like to provide testimony this afternoon?
Okay. Discussion on the board.
Well, I have to say that's, said exactly what I think. I mean, I'm optimistic, but I do think we ought to just extend it out myself.
What, can I ask a question from Brett?
Yeah, I was
in
going to
regards
say,
to
Brett,
that?
come on up. We got questions for you.
Yes.
I guess my first question is, why, so the plan was to extend it 3 months. What would be the implications if we were to extend it throughout the end of the year?
The implications, if it was extended out to the end of the year, is there are a few applications associated with specific projects. You might have a construction project, a land use project, and an environmental health type septic project. If the septic project was to expire while the building and construction projects would be extended, we would have to analyze how to get that septic not to expire in order to proceed as a whole project. Alignment is really, it really coordinates all the departments that we work with at the Building Development Center as a holistic project review.
So looking at the flip side of that, do we save any time by, like, if we're going to have to extend public health stuff? I mean, I guess we don't have to, but I mean, assuming we were going to extend public health, do we save time by doing them together? They're off track now in the sense that we're talking about this one now, and at a separate meeting, we talked about the other one. Is there a way to do them together so that they're just done in one bundle, or is it kind of two separate things no matter which way we go?
Well, they are two separate because of the process to extend expirations of public health and social services, I believe, is different than what we have to do with CPED, which requires a public hearing before the Board of County Commissioners. I can't speak on behalf of public health and social services, but it's my understanding that a public hearing is not the same and the length of time to get to that public hearing is a little bit different. So this would align them together, and then a reevaluation around September 30th would be the next step.
Commissioner Edwards, and then we'll go around the horn. Go ahead.
Is there any reason that if we extended this to the end of the year, we couldn't extend all of them to the end of the year as they expire?
The expiration of this ordinance expired March 31st, 2021. So the board action, if to approve to September 30th or beyond, would be retroactive to those that are in the middle between March and today's date. The board has every opportunity to extend as far as they want, as long as they want, and could align with the other departments as well.
I guess that's my position. We've been back here.
Use the microphone.
We've been back here numerous times on this particular topic, and I know we all hoped this thing would be over, but now the supply chain is really mixed up. For a while there, you couldn't get your job done because you couldn't find anybody to do the job. And now, even if you can find somebody to do the job, you can't get the material to do the job. And I'll just make comment, there was a gentleman in the audience today, I think that Commissioner Mejia helped do an extension on a septic. And because of all the reasons I've just said, and now he can't get the material he needs because it's a specialized septic system, and that material is not available because of a lack of labor, I don't know, in Mississippi or something. So I just don't see a downside to extending this out to the end of the year and then extend everything else as it comes up out to the end of the year, and we'll align it at that point in time. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Did you have a comment, Commissioner?
I did, and it kind of, okay, yeah, I remembered it. I got swooped in by Commissioner Edwards' passionate speech. Now, I was wondering, because we just did the septic extension to September, I believe, and we have a Board of Health meeting coming up. Is that not something where we could talk about public health and their extension at that meeting?
Doing it, well, Brett already said that's not part of his.
That's not his, but
That's
I
not part of his bailiwick, yeah.
I do agree. I mean, I just went through a remodel right now, and we had to deal with what they had in stock, and everything is, was going to be hopefully August, hopefully September, and they just didn't know. And I know many people are struggling with the same situation, so anything that we can do, I think, to take that extra stress. Thank you to staff for bringing this forward, because it does help, but I do agree, maybe to the end of the year would be something, I feel like that could help many citizens, especially get through the supply and demand right now that exist.
County Manager?
Yeah, Brett alluded to the fact this extension is not for 3 months. It's for 6 months because it's retroactive to March 31st. So all those permits, they were lapsing on March 31st will be extended to September 30th. Another option the board may consider before September 30th, if you were to move as presented, will align the public health in this ordinance as a single item, not a single item, but at the same time, where you can extend even beyond December as you wish. So that's another option that you may consider as well.
If I had my druthers, we'd go to June of 2022.
Well,
So,
baby
well,
steps,
give me that
Commissioner.
option.
Baby
I
steps.
think just the end of the year, it gives some folks some ability to plan, because I've heard the story that Commissioner Mejia just laid out many times by folks that are just stuck, and they think, well, what happens now if this extension runs out? I mean, I'll use this example today. It expired in April, March, and we didn't get to it. So what the heck? Somebody had to jump through some hoops and get some things done. why not, let's just run it right all up to the end of the year, do the whole thing at the end of the year. That's kind of what
I think that's fine. I'm just trying to figure out what would save the most time. Is it better to do this now at the end of the year and then have a separate action with public health? Or is there some kind of efficiency to having them both on the same thing? I mean, it sounds like we're going to do it no matter what. It's just,
I don't think there's a downside
it
of
makes
any
everybody
action.
feel good to do this one today. Let's do this one today. I mean, I don't,
I don't think you can,
not hearing
there is a
anybody make a
downside in
compelling
any of the
argument.
options you're considering. There is not a downside. At the end of the day,
All right.
I believe whether it's September 30th or December is going to be a benefit to the citizens, whatever action that you want to take.
Okay, so any further discussion before we
I'd make a
close?
motion to close this meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded and call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menser.
Aye. Motion carries. Public hearing is closed. Is there a motion or an amended motion regarding?
I think we're okay just making a motion and I'll just change the verbiage.
Because you have not introduced a motion yet.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I move to approve the ordinance to extend ordinance 15942, which extends the permit deadlines of building and land use applications received by community planning and economic development to December 30th, 2021.
Or 31st,
31st.
just to make it the end of the year.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
Nope. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menser.
Aye. Motion carries. Good to go. Thanks, everybody.